In relation to Victoria and aged care, the Victorian Aged Care Response Centre has been stood up now for several days. That brings together the Commonwealth officers, both in emergency management and the Federal Department of Health, with their counterparts in Victoria. Now, the situation in Victoria aged care is very complex. You have a combination of the community transmission, which is widespread in Melbourne, finding its way into many facilities. And in particular, it has found its way into the aged care workforce. The standing down, necessarily, of many in that workforce has had a very significant disruption to the provision of care in those facilities. The Commonwealth has been working, including with other states, to ensure that we can plug those gaps wherever we possibly can. But I want to be upfront with you. It's very difficult and it's very hard to get people into those positions, particularly given the complexity and difficulty of the situations they're facing. Last night in particular, we had ADF officers, nurses, being put into a night shift in a Melbourne facility, and we were able to arrange that quite late in the evening, about 11 o'clock. And so there is no effort being spared to ensure that we can get the people to the places they need to be. An important part of the process that we've been following has been to transfer those who have COVID in particular out of aged care facilities into both public and private hospitals. This is a very important part of the plan that is being implemented that relieves the stress on those facilities where there are patients, I should say residents, who are able to be accommodated in those facilities, in single rooms and appropriate facilities. There has been significant PPE that has been provided to the aged care sector in Victoria, both leading up to this time over many weeks, and more is being provided. The training was provided, but it's important with the leadership in these facilities that is being adhered to, and further steps are being taken to ensure that that is taking place. The disruption to the workforce, which has included the disruption of the management workforce in those facilities, means that you have significant problems ensuring a continuity of communication with families. And I know that must be terribly heartbreaking for those families and incredibly difficult. And Richard Colbeck, the Minister for Aged Care, I've tasked specifically to be focusing on ensuring that we do everything we can to fill those holes when it comes to communications with families. There is disruption and we would ask for patience, but I understand that that patience is very hard to come by when you're talking about a loved one who's been affected by COVID and what's been occurring in these facilities. COVID is a difficult beast to manage, and it means that there will be difficult tasks and there will be hard times and there will be complex solutions that are necessary. But the way we get on top of it is the way we're acting by working together. The Victorian and the federal government are working together, whether it's on the issues that the state government have been pursuing, whether it's on their testing or tracing regime. As I said in previous press conferences, we've got over 1,400 ADF personnel on the ground and many hundreds more of Commonwealth officers who are available to support that work. And that includes now getting nursing workforces into aged care facilities. That is a key task at the moment, and I want to thank particularly the South Australian Government. I spoke yesterday with the Premier to seek his support in getting additional nursing care resources into Victoria, and we're working through those issues, and where other states are able to assist and in a position to do so, then we'll be welcoming that as well. So I'll be returning to Canberra, obviously to work closely with our Department of Health and Minister Hunt, as well as Minister Colbeck, to ensure we're doing everything we can to address that situation in Victoria, particularly in relation to aged care, and we will provide further updates. Minister Hunt will be standing up later today. I've been in constant contact with him, as well as the regular briefings that we have on a daily basis. And after discussing the matter with him earlier today, I thought it was best that as much as there are some tremendous things and I wanted to hear from up here in Queensland over the next few days, I think the urgency of the situation requires me to return to Canberra. But to come back to the reason we're here today and to be joining Walker Seafoods, what is encouraging about Walker Seafood's story is, despite the challenges of COVID, and as Andrew said, while Queensland has been spared the worst of the health circumstances of of the COVID crisis. They have not been immune to the economic impacts. But what I've been inspired by businesses all around the country, whether it's been in my own electorate in southern Sydney or here or over in Western Australia or the Northern Territory, has been the determination of Australian businesses, particularly small and medium-sized businesses, to find their way through, to look at the assets and the resources they have, whether it's the fishing vessel we see there, whether it's the equipment we see behind us, the people and the staff that they have, and how they can adapt to find their way through. And with the support of the instant asset write-off to get the blast freezer, with the support of JobKeeper, which has kept 13 employees out of a staff of 50 on the tools here at Walker Seafoods, and the cash flow support and the subsidisers of freight flights, which has enabled them to get their tuna to Japan and to Americas, I should particularly say, means that they've been able to find their way through. And after taking an extremely heavy hit, they're building their business back up. And that's the way out for Australia. This is a business which has not let its head drop. This is a business that has kept its eyes forward and looking at their opportunities and how they can adapt. That is the way through. And that is why we've put in place the measures that we have, whether it's what I've already referred to with the instant asset write-off, with JobKeeper, with the cash flow support, which continues, or on top of that, it's the work we've done in the construction sector or the entertainment sector, or up at Australia Zoo, not too far from here, more than $3 million of support in JobKeeper, in support through our grants program to help them feed their animals and keep the zoo running. All of these businesses we've been taking a very micro view on to see how we can help them and support their plans. They're leading it, we're supporting them. And that's what my government will continue to do to ensure we not only address the very real health crisis that we face, but that we address the economic crisis as well, and we keep Australians in jobs and we emerge more strongly.